Cauliflower. Sure, it's versatile and can be a substitute for pizza crust or rice, but honestly, it doesn't have much flavor until now. Today, we're making my garlic and herb mashed cauliflower. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. On this channel, we teach you all about celebrating. We share recipes for food, hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, and we share entertaining tips too. Now we try and keep everything as simple as possible, especially for those of you out there who say that you just can't cook or entertain, because we know that you really can. So if you like this episode, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and watch a new episode every single week. Today, our celebration is all about cauliflower. Now, we're going to be making a garlic herbed mashed cauliflower. Now, our friend and long-term fan, probably one of our original fans, contacted me and asked for a recipe for mashed cauliflower. So I've spent a couple weeks testing recipes, and I think I finally got it. So Dixie, this one is for you. Let's get started. I have a big pot here, and I have almost 2 full heads of cauliflower cut up in it, and I just want to show you how easy it is to break down a cauliflower. Now this is a half of one. I just cut it in half. I had taken off the stem and I cut it right in half. Now this is the core of the cauliflower. It's kind of tough and woody. All we're going to do today is break off the flowers. Now they're natural breaks. You can just pull it apart and it comes right off the stem, right off the core. So we're just going to break these off, put them right in our pot of water. This one's a little bigger. I'm going to cut it in half because I want them close to the same size so they all cook evenly. So it really is just this simple. Now, if you get some of the core like I did just there, you just cut it right off. You can eat it. It's just a little tough. So let's get rid of that. All right. These will go right in. And here's a piece of the core left. Now this needs a little flavor. A little salt is all you need. Healthy pinch. Cauliflower can take a lot of salt. Now we're going to get the heat on. We're going to cover it. And we're going to boil this until it's tender. "10 minutes, 15 minutes, depends on how much cauliflower, how big your pieces are. Here we are. It's been a few minutes. We got our cauliflower up to a boil, and which took about 5 minutes for the water to come up, and then we just boiled it for a good 10 minutes, and now it's nice and tender. So what I've done is I've already drained it. Now watch, look at all that steam coming off. Where it is right now, it's fully cooked. It's very, very tender, but you see all this steam and all this moisture. So we want to dry this out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my heat on low, like that. And we're just going to give this a little bit of a stir. Now you'll start to hear some sizzling, and that's the water evaporating, cooking out. So it just takes a couple minutes. Just keep an eye on it, give a little stir. You can probably hear that now, that sizzle. And that's okay. So you just want to do this for a couple minutes. You don't want it to start to brown or anything, but just until it starts to stop sizzling. Here we are, ready to finish up this wonderful mashed cauliflower. Now all I did was I heated this in the dry pan. It took 3 or 4 minutes just to get the extra moisture out. So let's add the rest of the tasty stuff while it's still nice and hot. First, garlic. Just 3 cloves minced up, just raw, because the heat that's so finely minced, the heat will cook that. I've got some chives that I chopped up, fresh chives, about a half cup. And finally, about a quarter cup of fresh parsley that I chopped up as well. And now a half a cup of sour cream. Right in. Now we're going to use my good old-fashioned potato masher to do this. And this cauliflower is so tender, it really doesn't take any effort. So it takes a couple minutes. You could, if you wanted to, after you get this mushed down a bit, you could use an immersion blender, a stick blender, if you have one. And that'll just give it a little finer texture. I prefer doing it this way with my masher. A little stir. That's still kind of hot, so let me hold this. All right. Now you can also, if you wanted, use a fork and smush it down, and that'll just give you a little finer texture too, if you wanted to. Now, we need to taste this for seasoning, not the official tasting. The cauliflower takes a lot of salt and pepper, so yeah, let's use a little more salt and a little pepper. Good amount of salt. And that's one of the most important tips I could ever give you. Taste while you're cooking, so you can adjust those seasonings. Let's just give that a stir. Now I left this kind of chunky on purpose. I like it that way. Like I say, you can take it down, make it as smooth as you want. Now, our favorite part. Let me get my wine, and we'll do the real tasting. That's lovely. It's very fresh. The garlic gives a little pop of heat. There's the freshness of the fresh herbs that we put in right at the end. Now, when I serve this, I'm going to put this into a beautiful bowl. I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil and a couple of pats of butter right on top. And then all that's going to do is melt down and melt through and make it even just a little bit richer and more wonderful. That's our recipe. So as always, we'll have all the ingredients and measurements and everything up in the comments section on YouTube. And question of the day, guys, are you going to make this? And what herbs would you put in it? We want to hear from you. Remember, follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And as always, I'll see you again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. because you're all invited to come on over, come on in, and let's celebrate. Cheers.